I'm Emmanuel and welcome to my workbench and welcome to another long form 10 roll hunt. And this week for the finale, we're doing pennies. I have 10 rolls of pennies here. I hope that I expect that this will be my last week where I do this. So let's go to the intro and I'll get set up and I'll bring you in on the roll number 1. All right, and I'm back. Yes, I hope that, I believe that after this I should have enough time to do my regular, we'll go back to our regular format that I did here. So what am I expecting? Well, I'd like to see some oldies. And I'm expecting a lot of Americans because in Canada we don't have the penny anymore. One way that Canadians fill these rolls is they stuff them with American pennies, so I'm expecting a lot of American pennies. Now, my hunts are a little bit different for pennies. What happens is, at one point, I think 2000, around the year 2000, I believe, is when they transitioned to steel core pennies, making the penny magnetic. And so first thing I do, as I lay them all flat like this, I do a quick scan for any American pennies that I take out. I also see if I see any young heads. Here's our first one. This is a 1962. Now, I don't keep young heads from the 60s anymore because I just have too many of them, unless they're like blazers or something. But what I'll do for this hunt is I'll set anything aside that is a young head for you to see the frequency. Next step. I take my little magnet here and I literally go over all of them. Now, sometimes these rolls are just filled with copper coins, and sometimes they're not. Like this one is all copper. So that is what it is. And the years that I'm looking for 77 to 79. This is 79 because those coins were infamous for having doubling. So here we go. I'm going through all of these guys now by year. 1985 is another one where I'll be looking for a variety pointed 5 and as versus the regular blunt 5. And here's a 76. So I stick all of the 76s, I should say. I said 77 earlier. 76 to 79. Aside for scoping later, which I will also record on this video. Here's a 1985. That'll go for the scope to see if it's a blunt or a pointed. And here is a commemorative. Let me zoom in here. So this is Canada's 125th anniversary. So you see the double date on the penny right there. Really cool. Other ones that we're looking for are for the more modern pennies. This one looks really nice. Let me set it aside. It's a 1993. Nothing special about that year, but this is in particularly good shape. So I'm going to always check these really bright ones for upgrades in my book. And for the modern ones, here's 1969. So in 1969, there is a double die variety. So I'll set that one aside for scoping. There were errors in the, for the modern ones, there were errors. I'll set these aside here, so just so I have room on my mat. There were errors with the composition marks. Some magnetic the magnetic coins were supposed to have P composition marks. What am I doing? I should be using Furvid's Fines magnet here instead of my old magnet. So let me put my old magnet, and I'm going to be using Furvid's Fines screwdriver here. Yeah, the mint marks, the composition marks, if it was a steel core, it's supposed to have a P before they transitioned to the Royal Canadian Mint logo. And so some coins were magnetic with the P mint mark, which is an error, and some were not magnetic without the P mint. Sorry, they were magnetic without the mark, and they were non-magnetic with the mark. So those are the ones to look for. So here we go. 1966 American I'm not going to say all of the years, but you'll see here, you can see all of the obverses. 5, I know there's more, 6, 7, 8. Oh, this one looks like an oldie, 1987D though. It is not an oldie. Anyone else out here? 97, 96, 1990, 93. And this is typical of some of these rolls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 Americans. So let's go ahead and put them in groups of 10 here so you can keep track with me. The challenge that I have for myself is, can I have a full roll of American pennies in a 10 roll hunt? All right. Oh, there's another one that I missed. There's 14. So let's go ahead and use the magnet. Oh, another one, 15. No magnetic coins, so let's go ahead and go through these for the dates that I'm looking for. Now, I stopped looking for 1993s. 1983s. There was a variety that is that it has narrow and wide beads or gaps. That's a 77, and they're quite common, so I don't bother looking for those anymore. 1999. 1999 is a year that they issued the first test tokens with a P composition mark for testing in vending machines. I don't know if they issued any for the penny. And the year 2000, it will be also one where you will occasionally find the P mint mark, the P composition mark. The P composition mark on the year 2001s are the ones that we're looking for that have lower mintage. 77, 1999, really dirty. 2001. Yeah, it looks like all of these rolls were had copper. 1998, there is a variety, an NIFC variety with a W composition mark for the Winnipeg Mint, and that one I don't think I've ever. Well, I haven't found it in hunting. I think I purchased one off of a Facebook group. Oh, look at that! What's that? That's an American dime. 1967, not silver, but I'll take an American dime. Let's take out the Americans here. Oh, look at that. We have a Wheatie. This is a 1950. Cool. That's a find. I'll set, you know what? Let me do a quick check of these to see if any of these are Wheaties, because I didn't look at all of the dates. I'll be apologizing to all of the purists, because for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to be putting these obverse side down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? 4, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I'm going to be putting these obverse side down. So apologies to all of the purists who say that it's disrespectful. It might be, but this is just a coin. This is just a coin, and it's a coin roll hunt. Here is a young head, 1963. A laureate portrait. So 1962, 1963. I'll put them over here. It just makes it easier for me to identify the American wheat cents that I keep. And this one is a 1945. That is amazing. 2 wheat cents in this roll. The Wheaties I'll put obverse face up. Another young head here. Now this one is going to be a keeper for me. This is a 1956. Cool. So I'll put this one separate because I'm going to be keeping that. Well, that's an 85. So when I see a coin, here's another young head. This is a 1964. When I see a coin right off the bat, another 1964. that I can set aside, I do. I don't bother doing the magnet test. That was a 79. Any more Americans in here? No. So let's go ahead and do the magnet test. I think this bundle will most likely be composed entirely of copper coins. Now, I get asked in the comments occasionally, don't you keep copper coins? This 95 is really nice. I'll set that one aside. I just don't have 1965. There's the large bead and small bead variety, so I'll set that one aside for scoping. I just don't have the inclination to set aside copper coins, nor the storage. Honestly, 1962, this is a laureate portrait as well. In Canada, it is strictly illegal to melt down Canadian coinage, and barring packaging it and going down to the United States and selling it for scrap, I can't be troubled. 1967, this is the commemorative for the centenary, Canada centenary, and this is a rock dove. And there is doubling that is known on this coin, so I'm going to go ahead and scope that later. Yeah, so I can't be bothered. Now, some Canadians do keep copper coins, but you know what? If that's your thing, I leave it to other coin roll hunters. I get these returned. Now, most likely these will get destroyed, melted down by the mint when I return them to the bank. But it is what it is. You know, as a collector, you collect what you want. You don't have to collect everything. All right. Some other Americans here. Let's go ahead and spread these out. That one's really dirty. And as you can tell, there are quite a few Americans in these hunts. Will we hit that target of one full roll? So what do we have here? 1, 2, 4, 6, 8. That's 11, 14. That is 16 Americans in that roll. It doesn't look like there are any magnetics in this one either. So let's get going. Oh, this is another American, the grungy one here, the dirty one. 1998, no W mint mark. 1999, no P mint mark. 1998, 1999, 2001. We are now on roll number 5. And what do we have here? Another American dime. This is a 1997 Philadelphia. Well, I'm not going to say no. If you remember last hunt, I had a quarter. I was shorted a quarter. But what you didn't see, and one of the risks of having customer wrapped rolls is after the video, when I wrapped all of the coins, even though I only took out 3 coins, 2 of them were upgraders, so I replaced those back into the rolls. So I really only took out 1 coin, which was that L.M. Montgomery coin. I was almost half a roll short, which means almost every single one of those rolls was shorted a loonie, which was 1953 Younghead laureate portrait. I'm going to keep that one as well, which is highly discouraging, which is one of the risks of customer wrap rolls, unfortunately. But customer wrap rolls very often, especially for quarters and dimes, that's where you're going to find the silver, because it's going to be somebody who's wrapping up some coins at home that returns them to the bank. It'll have a lower incidence or a lower risk of getting caught by the Canadian Alloy Recovery Program, which means that those are the rolls that you want for quarters and dimes, so that you find silver. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 22 quarter. I keep saying quarters. 22 pennies, U.S. pennies, in this roll. I think we're going to easily break the full roll here for the for this hunt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. We already have a full roll. Are we going to hit a second roll? We're halfway through. We're already almost 10 coins in. We're 8 coins into the second roll. Will we have a second roll of American pennies in this hunt? Make your predictions now. Put them in the comments. All right, let's get going. Here's a 2003. 2003 was the year where they transitioned to the new bust of the Queen. There are magnetic and non-magnetic versions of this coin. This is the non-magnetic version. 77, 78. And if we move on to roll number 6. And again, with the American pennies, we have a laureate portrait here. This is a 1961. I think that's the first 61 we found. 61, 62, 63, and 64. 64 being the last year that the laureate portrait was issued. No shield sense. I do get those too, but this seems to be mostly the older Lincoln. Oh, this one is really corroded. It's green. I can't even read the year on this, but it is an American. I can see the Lincoln Memorial on the back of it. All right. Soon we'll have so many American pennies here that I won't have space for my coin roll hunt. Here's another one that I missed. Let's check the magnets with the magnet. You know what I'm going to do? Just for some variety, I have a box of pennies here. I'm just going to randomly replace one roll. I'm going to put this roll in, remove a roll so that we're stuck with the 10 rolls in the hope that this one has some magnetics, just so you see what I do differently and what there is to look for in the magnetics. Because otherwise, I think this hunt would be a little bit boring for everyone, although it is fun to find all of these U.S. coins. Keeping on with the original rolls, I'll save that switched out roll. I'll save that switched out roll for the last roll. Well, this looks like mostly Americans in this roll. If you've seen my penny hunts before, it does happen where I get a roll of all American cents. 1965, I got to check that one for the small and large bead variety. $1964, laureate portrait. There we go. At this rate, we're going to have more than 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 11 more cents to hit that 2-roll target. I think I am pretty confident we're going to make it here. We are now on roll 8. Whoops. Dropped one there. And another American dime. What's the year on this one? 1971, Denver. Really corroded, but whoever was rolling these up was desperate to get rid of their American change. Here's another laureate portrait. This is a 1953. Our second 1953, I believe. Yeah, another laureate portrait. This one's a 1958. Now, I believe 1953, 1954, 1955, in those may have had varieties with the shoulder fold, no shoulder fold variety. So I'm going to have to double check those as well. And I think we've just hit the 2 roll mark. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and we have 2 rolls of American cents. I'm going to start up here for the rest of it because I really am running out of real estate on this mat. Now, what's the framing like? The framing is good. My camera stand has a, or I should say my phone stand, because I record on my phone, has a loose nut, and sometimes because of the weight of the phone, it just starts very slowly rotating. Now, when I say I don't keep laureate portraits, I do from the 60s. I do keep them when they're in this condition. Look at that. Isn't that a beauty? 1964, that one gets put, I'll put it up here. That is a beauty. Those I keep. Those are worth keeping. Roll 9. Another thing I will find very often with these is that the rolls are overstuffed. People are just desperate to get rid of their cents. And this looks like a fully American roll here. Let's see how many non-Canadians are here. Or I should say, let's see how many non-Americans are here. We have another full roll of Americans, so another 50. Well, let's see if it's 50. 2. This roll was not overstuffed, but it did have exactly 50 American cents in it. So let me move these up here. Make some room. All right, let's go to this final roll where I hope to find some magnetic coins in here, just so that I can show you my process. Anything left? There. So let's see. Well, it doesn't look like it because I'm looking at the years as I spread them out here, and I think we hit another roll of non-steel core coins. We'll let the magnet do the judging here. So 2, 4, 6, 7 more Americans. That's a really nice 93. That's a 93 as well, eh? Which one is better? I think this one is better. This is a nice 96. I'll just start one over. Some of these are definitely worth investigating for upgraders. We're out of luck. I think we hit on another full copper roll. Thank you, Fervid's Finds, for your service. let's have a look here. Go check him out. He sent me, he's a new YouTuber, sent me that nice little gift. Very handy. This 98 looks impeccable as well, so let's set that one aside. Yeah, nothing is jumping out at me here. And that is that. So I'll be putting away these American cents. I'll be fully honest with you. I don't check for varieties anymore. I get such a low volume of pennies that I just pack all of these. I keep the Wheaties though, but I pack all of these. So I'm gonna go ahead and pack all of these, and just to make some room, and head on over to the scope, which is connected to my computer, and we'll go ahead and scope the ones that I have off camera here. So I'll be right back. All right, I am now at my scope, so let's have a look at what we have here. I did bring some of the older ones to have a quick look at them here. Let me fix the focus. 1956, what we're looking for in the 1956s. Hold on here, switching over on my other screen. So 1956, they have all the way to the 1960s. We're looking for a hanging variety. That is where you can see the chin of the queen on the other side of the coin, and it'll look like there's a line connecting the 6 and the maple leaf there. This is not one of them. They're prevalent all the way to 1969, so you'll see a few of those. Here's a 1985. We're looking for the pointed 5. You can see that the top of the 5, right next, closest to the stem of the leaf there, is vertical. And what we're looking for is a point where it almost reaches the leaf. So this is not the one we're looking for. I don't think I've ever found one, actually. 76, we're looking for doubling. 62, we're looking for the a harp variety, which will have some vertical lines dropping from the 1 over there. This is not it. When I said I don't keep them, okay, here is the rock dove. What we're looking for here, doubling in the 1967 in Canada, doubling on the rock dove's wings, and doubling on Regina. These don't have that. No doubling there. Here's another 1985. These shiny coins sometimes give an illusion of doubling, like at the top of the 8 over there, but I don't think there's any doubling over here. And here is one that is very clearly doubled. This 1979 has very clear doubling on the 7, the 9, the 9, the 7, and the 9. That is an awesome find. I don't like the fact that it's got a little bit of glue and paint on there, but that is cool. That is a keeper. And that is why I scope my coins, to find cool finds like that. $1969 was a doubled date that I was looking for there. Sorry, I flew by it very quickly. I forget that I'm commenting. So 1962, we're looking for that hanging or that hanging 2 or that harp. This is not one of those. 1978 also has a high 8 variety where the 8 is clearly above the 7 at the top of the 8, but this one, most of those are hard to find. Didn't find, I think I might have only found one. Well, there you go. I think, is this one? No, this is just the regular one. It kind of looked like the really shiny ones. Okay, 1965. This one I have to go to my online reference to see what I'm looking for. So where you are looking for, there's 2 varieties. There's the pointed 5 and the blunt 5. This one almost looks like a pointed 5, but the 5 is flared at the bottom. So that's kind of a giveaway because the pointed 5, there's no flaring. And but the other variety we're going to look for is we're going to look for the Roman numeral 2. And if the bead is in the middle, like this one is over here, that central bead is right in between that 2, that is the small beads variety. And if it didn't align with that 2, it would have been the large beads variety. So this is the common variety, the not pointed small beads variety. So let's keep looking for some finds here. 1963, we're looking for that hanging 3. Here's another 1985, and nothing there. When you find one, here's a 1961. When you find them, it makes it so much easier to identify. Okay, 1953. Oh, there we go. This is a hanging 3. You can see that line going up from the 3 and taking a sharp left, and it's going to the maple leaf. That is actually the chin of Queen Elizabeth there. So even if this isn't a variety, we found a hanging 3 on the 1953, but we have to go to the obverse here to find whether or not this is the no shoulder fold or shoulder fold variety. And what the very easy tip is, we look at the eye over here in day, and you'll see that the eye is very clearly flared, which makes this the no shoulder fold variety. The shoulder fold variety will be the variety that is the rarer one to find, where there's no flaring on the eye there. And the eye also points towards a denticle, whereas the no shoulder fold variety, the eye points in between 2 of these denticles. But we have a hanging 3, 1953. That is awesome. Here's another one. This one does not have the hanging 3. And we have the eye pointing in between denticles, which is the no shoulder fold regular variety. 1958, we're looking for the hanging 8. Nothing there. Whoops, I put it in the wrong pile. I want to keep this. Where is it? 1958s I keep. There we go. Anything in the 1950s I keep. 64, nothing there. Back to 78s for the doubling or the high 8. 65. And here you go. Now this one is a small beads variety. You can, as the large beads variety, you can see, hold on, am I confusing that? Am I switching the 2? The large beads variety, yeah, this is the large beads variety. There is no denticle in between the 2, the Roman numeral 2. And the large beads variety is the rare variety, not the small beads. And this, I believe, is also the blunt 5. It does look pointed. It does look pointed, but when I see a picture online, the tip of that 5 here, the pointed 5, almost reaches the twig there. So I'm going to be keeping that one as a variety, though it is a minor variety. 64, looking for that hanging 4. 77 is, we're looking for doubling on these coins over here. 65, that one is harder to tell. I don't see any flaring. Let me get to focus here. This might be a pointed 5. It is so worn. I'm looking at the picture offline. I think this might be a pointed 5. And this is a pointed 5 small bead variety. I'll keep that aside. I'll keep that aside for now. That would be cool if it was. 69, we're looking for the doubling on the date. 2 more to go. 78, no doubling there. 78, no doubling there. So let's head back to the workbench. And we are back at the workbench. Let me tell you, it is worth scoping your pennies if you have them. You do find some varieties. I really love that 1979 with massive doubling. So that's great. Now, for my US cents, I do look for my book fillers that I'm looking for. I'm looking for 1970S. I think that's the large date, some 1960s, the 1972 with doubling. But then all of my other book fillers are wheat cents. So, and these are not book fillers. Now let's go right to the giveaway. The giveaway for the month of May will be this pair of loonies. We have the Anne of Green Gables colorized and uncolorized loonies. And all you have to do to have a chance of winning these coins is to leave a comment down below. And sometime early next month, I will do the draw for the lucky winners of these coins. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, this hunt. I sure did. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, click on my logo over here to subscribe. Here is a link to a video that might be of interest to you, as well as a playlist of other penny hunts. Until next week, thanks for watching.